Look around. How many people pretend they want the truth, but choke the moment it stands in front of them? They talk about honesty like it's a trophy, but when it cuts their skin, they hide. They shut their eyes. They beg for comfort instead of clarity. Do you really want the truth, or just the comfort of lies? That's the question. That's the fire. And I'm asking you. This isn't a bedtime story. This isn't comfort. This is a mirror you've avoided for years. So let's make it real. If you're not afraid of truth, type yes in the comments right now. Say it. Own it. Let me see who's still breathing, who's still fighting, who's not afraid to bleed for something real. Because if you're here, you're not here to be entertained. You're here because the world already tried to bury you in illusions, and you clawed your way back. You're here because deep down, you know the lies never saved you. They chained you. And the only way forward is fire. And tonight you'll face it. No masks, no filters, no polite excuses, just the raw truth, unforgiving, unpolished, undeniable, the kind of truth they beg for but never survive. You think you're ready for it? Let's see. Truth doesn't knock. It doesn't whisper. It doesn't wait for permission. Truth kicks the door down and drags the masks off their faces. It's not gentle. It's not soft. It's a blade, cold, merciless, and sharp enough to slice through every illusion they built to protect themselves. And that's why they fear you. Because you don't hand them sweet lies wrapped in ribbons. You hand them reality. Raw, brutal, unforgiving. You cut through their excuses. You carve away their comfort. And suddenly, they're standing there naked in the mirror, stripped of all the stories they told themselves. Most people don't want the truth. They want survival myths. They want cushions for their weakness. They want safety nets made of denial. But you walk through fire without asking for sympathy. You let the blade cut you first. And now you carry it. You are it. Every time you speak, it's not words, it's steel. Every time you look at them, it's not eyes, it's a scalpel slicing open their pride. They call it harsh. They call it cruel. But deep down, they know it's the only language that never lies. So remember this, truth doesn't save everyone. It destroys the ones too fragile to hold it. And when you drop it in their hands, they either bleed or they rise. There is no middle ground. They don't fear your strength. They fear their weakness around you. That's the secret. Power doesn't scream. It doesn't need a crown, a stage, or a spotlight. Power lives in the things they can't bend, can't twist, can't control. And you are one of those things. Look into their eyes when they face you. The twitch in their smile, the stumble in their voice, the way they keep talking, hoping to drown out the silence, pressing against them. That's not confidence. That's panic. Because they know they can't predict you. And what they can't predict, they can't control. You don't play by their rules. You don't dance to their rhythm. You carry your own storm, and that storm doesn't wait for their permission. They tried to study you, tried to measure you, tried to put you in a box. But boxes burn when the fire inside is bigger than the walls. And that's why you scare them. Because control is their religion. It's the one drug they're addicted to. But you're untouchable, unclaimed, unchained. And when something can't be owned, can't be caged, it becomes dangerous. It becomes unforgettable. So let them whisper. Let them scheme. Let them cling to their illusions of control. Because deep down, every time your shadow brushes past them, they remember the truth. They never had power over you. Not then, not now, not ever. You don't just walk into a room. You shift its gravity. That's the truth. Not with noise, not with force, but with presence. A presence so quiet, so certain. It unsettles the air itself. You become the weight they can't lift, the tension they can't ignore. They try to define you, label you, box you, but your existence is a contradiction they cannot solve. Every step you take makes them question their ground. Every breath you draw reminds them they are not in control. That's power, not conquest, not domination, but the silent knowledge that you simply are. And they sense it. They feel the gravity of you before they even speak your name. It's not arrogance, it's fact. You carry your own truth so unapologetically that it disturbs them. And when someone disturbs the illusion they live in, they panic. They lash out, they plot. But no matter how much they talk, how much they scheme, how much they wish to erase you, your presence remains. Like a shadow they can't step out of, like a weight they can't shake off. You don't ask for their respect. You don't seek their permission. You just exist. And that is enough to unsettle the world. So ask yourself, are they afraid of what you, or afraid of who you are when you do nothing at all? Because sometimes the loudest revolutions come from the quietest presences. They wanted you broken. They built their hope around your collapse. They counted on your silence becoming surrender. They placed bets on your defeat. But you betrayed them. You rose. You rebuilt. You transformed the wreckage into armor. That is the real betrayal. They can't forgive it. Not because you survived, but because you thrived. Where they prayed you'd perish. They wanted a version of you they could control, a version that would fit neatly into their story. But you walked away from their script. You wrote your own, and that is an act of defiance. Every scar you carry is a testament to what they wished would break you. Every step you take in spite of them is a reminder of their failure. They speak of you quietly now, not out of respect, but out of fear. Fear that you became what they could never imagine. Fear that you became unstoppable. That's the cruel twist of expectation. They thought they held the map. They thought they could guide your path. But you burned their map. You built your own roads. And every step on those roads is a message. They were wrong to doubt you. So let them talk. Let them whisper. Let them rebuild their illusions. Because they'll never forget the betrayal that haunts them. The betrayal of your right. And every time you stand taller, they remember. When they whisper your name, it's never casual. It's fear dressed as curiosity. They don't speak of you to understand you. They speak of you to prepare themselves, to measure the threat they can't name. Fear has become their language whenever you exist in the room. It's not what you say that unsettles them. It's what you don't say. The way you stand still. The way you don't explain yourself. That quiet becomes louder than their noise. And that quiet is a message they know they can't predict you. And if they can't predict you, they can't control you. They study you. They watch you. They dissect your actions, like scholars trying to understand a lost language. But truth is, you're not theirs to decode. You don't belong to their patterns, their comfort zones, their logic. You are outside of it. You are the question they can't answer. And that's the real terror, the unknown. It lives in you. It breathes in your silence. It grows every time they try to name you. Fear isn't in their heart. It's in their mouths, in their trembling hands, in the hesitation before they speak your name. So understand this. They are not after your secrets. They are after your control. And the moment they realize control was never theirs to begin with, they stop speaking your name. But fear will always remain. They left you alone, thought you'd shatter, thought silence would crush you. They believed absence was the weapon to break your spirit. But they were wrong. Isolation isn't a prison. It's a forge. And in that fire, you became sharper, stronger, unrecognizable. They don't see it. They think loneliness is weakness, but loneliness is a teacher, a sculptor. It strips away the noise, the expectations, the weight of others. It leaves you naked with yourself. And when you stand there undeterred, you stop being a player in their game. You become the game itself. They feared your voice, but they should have feared your absence. Because absence doesn't plead, absence doesn't explain, absence doesn't explain, absence doesn't compromise, absence doesn't return until it's ready to rewrite the rules. And when it does, it comes with a vengeance. That fire they tried to extinguish is now the flame they can't ignore. It burns quietly, but it burns relentlessly. Every moment you stand alone, every moment they think they've forgotten you, you grow stronger in ways they will never understand. So let them leave you alone. Let them whisper that you've been defeated. Because in the heart of isolation, a new power awakens. A power that doesn't need permission, doesn't seek approval, doesn't answer to anger burns, it consumes. It makes fools of those who wear it without purpose. But rage is different. Rage is a blade tempered by silence. A fire refined by solitude. Rage is not destruction. It is transformation. And you carry it like an art form. They call you angry. They say you're reckless. They don't understand that your fury is controlled, that every storm inside you is sharpened into something precise. Rage without control is chaos. Rage with control becomes power, and power terrifies them. You don't throw your rage into the air like a tantrum. You channel it quietly. You mold it. You let it become the fuel for your presence. Every word you withhold, every step you take in silence, every glance you deliver without explanation, that is rage refined into something far more dangerous. They fear your strength, but what they fear most is your control over that strength, that you will not waste it, that you will choose what to destroy, and when you do, they will remember your name forever. So let rage burn inside you, but don't let it consume you. Let it sharpen you. Let it focus you. Let it make you unstoppable. Because controlled rage is the most terrifying thing they'll ever face. What makes them hate you isn't your lies. It's your accuracy. The cold, cutting truth that lands without apology. Truth doesn't ask for permission. Truth doesn't bow. Truth strips away comfort and leaves reality bare. And that becomes unforgivable. They wanted a version of you they could rewrite. A version they could control, but you gave them no script, no soft words, no excuses. You gave them clarity. And clarity is a blade. It cuts through illusion. It dismantles their walls, and once it does, it leaves a wound they can never heal. That is the danger of truth. It doesn't fade, it doesn't age, it doesn't forgive. It stays, lingers in the silence, in the hesitation, in the quiet weight of a moment they can never forget. It becomes their question without answer, their doubt without peace, and they beg for it to change, beg for it to be softer, easier. But truth isn't negotiable. Truth doesn't bend to comfort. It doesn't dress itself in kindness. It arrives like steel, and it remains like fire. The kind of fire they fear will never go out. So remember, truth isn't what they want, it's what they fear. And the moment they see it in you, they will never look at the world the same way again. They begged for truth, but you didn't speak it. You became it. You lived, you carried it quietly, until it became your shadow. A shadow they can't escape. A shadow they can't silence. A shadow that follows them long after you're gone. Legacy isn't built in noise. It's built in the moments no one sees. In the silence after the storm. In the absence that still speaks. Your legacy is not your words. It is your existence. It is the mark you leave on their minds when they think you've vanished. They thought they controlled the story, but the story was yours all along. You wrote it in every step you refused to take for. You etched it in every truth you didn't shout, but lived. And that is how legends are born. Quietly, relentlessly, without asking for permission. By the time they realize what you've done, it will be too late. They'll search for your name in the noise of the world and find nothing, only shadows. And in those shadows, they will remember You were never theirs to break. You were never theirs to own. You were theirs to fear. And fear is eternal. Look at yourself. Really look. Not the face you show the world. Not the mask you wear to serve, but the one you keep locked away. That face knows the truth. That face knows what silence can do. That face knows what you've already said without speaking. They begged for answers. They demanded explanations. But the truth doesn't live in words. It lives in the way you carry yourself, in the weight of your existence, in the calm before the storm they never see coming. And when it arrives, they won't be able to look away. This is your mirror, the one they fear, the one they avoid, and the one you hold every single day. Because living truthfully isn't loud. It's quiet, relentless, dangerous, and it changes everything. So ask yourself, are you the one who waits for the world to speak? Or are you the one who writes the truth in silence, in fire? Because the world doesn't need your explanation. It needs your presence, and your presence is enough. They begged for truth, but you already spoke it into existence. They will talk about you when you are gone, not because they understood you, but because they feared what you became. They will repeat your silence as a warning. They will replay your absence as proof of their own fragility. And in that echo, your truth will live forever. Truth is not a moment. It is a legacy. It is the ripple in water that never stops. You cannot take it back. You cannot silence it. Once spoken, whether in words or in silence, it becomes immortal, and you have already given it to them. So stand. Stand in the shadow of what they cannot control. Stand in the fire they cannot enter. Stand in the silence they cannot endure. And know this truth is not given. Truth is lived, and you have already lived it. They begged for truth. They feared your silence. And you became both. This is the moment. The one they never prepared for. The one they begged to never arrive. Because you are no longer a question. You are the answer. You are the storm they feared. The truth they ran from. The silence that burned louder than their screams. Rise now. Stand in the shadow of every doubt they planted in your path. Let it fuel you. Let it burn through your veins. Rage is not enough. Control is not enough. You need to become the reckoning. The living proof that what they feared most was never a word, but your presence. They will try to bury you. They will try to erase you. But the fire you carry does not burn in vain. It becomes legend. It becomes a mirror they cannot shatter. A truth they cannot forget. You walk forward knowing they will whisper your name long after you disappear. This is your final gift to them. Not an explanation, not a plea, but a legacy written in silence, forged in fire, sealed in shadow. The reckoning is not theirs to deliver. It is yours to live, and you have already begun. So rise, stand tall, speak without speaking, and leave the world trembling in the wake of your truth. Because they begged for the truth, but you didn't give it. You became